Hello and welcome to this DIY Friday video. So something a little bit different from my channel. Obviously you've seen me doing CAD and electrical science and maths and bits and bobs, so this is a little bit of a departure for me. The reason that I've decided to start doing these videos is that I do an awful lot of DIY on my houses. I've owned a couple now and I just love doing stuff to them. Ironically, the one thing that you're not going to see me doing is electrical work. So that's not going to happen because if you want to see that, you need to go over and look at my other channel that I help out with, eFix. That's eFix with 2 X's, so I'll include a link somewhere for you to have a look at that. Go and check that out if you haven't already done so. So these videos, these DIY Friday videos, are purely and simply just going to be me doing stuff to my house. Now, I'm not a professional in any of the areas, so I'm going to be looking at a range of different things. You might see me doing a bit of demolition, a bit of carpentry, a little bit of plumbing, things like that, but I'm certainly not an expert in any of these areas. It's just bits and bobs that I've picked up over the years and looked at really in conversation with trades and other sort of chaps on site who I've worked with and met, and just ask questions, you know, take an interest in what they're doing, and you find out an awful lot really. So yeah, please don't take any of this as being best practice. Please don't take any of these as being a how-to. This is how Joe does things, and sometimes that'll be right, sometimes that'll be wrong. I'm sure that all the trades will very quickly be on to me and telling me exactly what I'm getting wrong. So that'll be helpful if you look at the comments, especially if you do see something wrong. Check no one's commented on it before, because chances are you won't be the first. So what's the first project that we're going to be looking at in this series of videos? Well, it's a big one, and this is one of the reasons that I've deciding to do this, because I do so much DIY that I kind of lose track of what I've done, and I want to just kind of have it's more of a personal record really, just something that I can look back on and think, oh yeah, I remember doing that, that was good, and enjoy watching those memories back. And the first one is a big one, and it is a total kitchen refurbishment. So at the minute, I'll show you around a little bit. I'm standing in my dining room right now. So this is my dining room. Behind me here, there used to be a big row of bookcases where I kept all my books, and that's why there's little holes left in the wall, as you can see there. So those are going to be patched up and they'll disappear eventually. But they've all gone now. They've been moved into another part of the house, into my man cave, and all of the books in there are on the shelves in alphabetical order, which is deeply pleasing. So I've managed to sort that out. And then, yeah, this is the dining room. So this is what we've got going on here. Through that door there is the lounge. So that's pretty much done. We're not going to be messing around with that. This unit will be going. That's where we keep our computer at the moment. So that'll be gone, and we'll replace that with a laptop or something, because this project is huge. There's lots of big things going on. So coming into the kitchen area now through this door, this is our existing kitchen. Now, we bought this house maybe, I don't know, about 20 years ago, I think. So, no, sorry, the house was built 20 years ago, apologise. We bought it about 7 years ago. And it's the original kitchen from the original house, and it's starting to get a little bit tatty. You can see that, you know, the sort of fronts are starting to peel off there. You can see that. And down here, we've got a little bit of damage to the drawer edge there as well. I could potentially just change all the fronts if I wanted to, but there's good reason to take it a little bit further, because if you look around here, you look at these worktops, you can see the worktop space we've got is pretty limited. There's a little bit there, and there's a little bit around here, not an awful lot at all, and a little bit here the other side of the sink, and then a little bit more here. And actually there's not a lot of kind of work surface to be prepping on. Adding into that, I'm not convinced that this kitchen was designed very well when it was first put in, to be honest. So everything you can see in this kind of lovely late 90s beige colour is the original kitchen. And then down this end of the kitchen, you can see that we've got kind of 2 spaces. Now, the cynic in me thinks that perhaps this was built this way to kind of be able to sell it as a little bit more than it was, maybe. So if you think about it, you know, you could sell this house as having a dining room, a kitchen. I have no doubt that this area was referred to as some kind of breakfast room, no doubt, although trying to get a table in that area for 4 people is very, very unlikely to happen, I think, and we're a family of 4, so it's not much good for us. And then round here, you can see you've kind of got this strange section of wall that comes out and then around and then back again, and this little archway here, all very, you know, nicely built, and, you know, I'm sure a lot of thought went into it. And then you come into what we laughingly refer to as our utility nook, because I don't think this can really be called a utility room. There's a sink with a sliver of worktop. You look at that and you think, imagine the worktop that came out of that, that was cut out, and actually they've cut out more than they installed for that one, which is an interesting situation. And then a little bit of worktop over here, and there did used to be a cupboard up there as well, but we took that out because we had our washing machine and tumble dryer in there. They've now moved into the garage, so they've been moved out, and the dishwasher we plumbed in down here, and that's now been moved over to the far end of the kitchen, so we've kind of got rid of that element of it as well. So yeah, it's kind of a bit pokey. This isn't a particularly well utilised area. The worktop in here just tends to get really cluttered up with stuff. It's not very good. And we had to put in some extra cupboards just because there's just not enough cupboard space in the kitchen really for what we need and what we use. So yeah, we've kind of lived with this kitchen for 7 years, and it was one of the things that I wanted to do the very first thing when we moved in really, but we've just not been able to for finances and lots of other jobs going on as well. You know, we've had done a lot of work in the garden, that's changed a lot, laid a driveway and all sorts of other bits and bobs. So the plan is, and this is quite exciting, and I'm kind of a bit nervous but excited at the same time, the plan is to take all of this space, all of this kitchen space, and the dining room, and turn it all into one big kitchen. So it's going to be one big kitchen diner. So that's going to be quite exciting for us, we think. That's going to be quite nice. We're going to have kind of a breakfast bar area here, so you can see over into the dining area where there'll be a table and bits and bobs. And probably the biggest change we're going to make, here we've got the understairs cupboard. So this is all going to come out. I'm going to show you the secret cupboard of shame. So I might need to blur this bit out in case Mrs. R doesn't let me show it. But this is kind of our little junk cupboard at the moment, where we've just piled everything up until we can get this sorted. So behind that bit of wall there, that's where we had the tumble dryer and the washing machine on the other side of that. So all of this wall, all of this wall here, and this wall here behind me, all of that is all going to go. So it's all going to be one great big room laid out here, and we're going to have the sink is going to stay in its place, so we'll have a new sink put in there. As I say, a breakfast bar over where we've currently got the hob. The hob and the oven are going to come over here, so all of this will effectively be pushed back against that wall there, and that will all become new kitchen worktop, cupboards underneath, wall cupboards, and all of that will just become a new kind of cooking area. Again, gives us a bit more worktop. And then down this end of the kitchen, this is just going to be floor to ceiling, wall to wall, so it's going to go all the way from where the boiler is there, all the way over to here. That's all going to be cupboards, and we're going to kind of have a little bit set back there it'll be wall mounted cupboards, but it'll kind of evoke the sense of a dresser, because the floor to ceiling cupboards come out too far past the window, so it'll kind of set back at that point. But I think that'll look quite nice actually. I'm quite looking forward to seeing that fully realised. That'll look quite good. And yeah, we'll get, obviously the units will be integrated, so we won't have a fridge freezer out anymore, the world's smallest fridge freezer. I might one day confess a hilarious story about how we ended up with that world's tiniest fridge freezer at some point. I don't come off well in that story, just so you know. And we'll replace that little freezer down there as well with a new integrated one. So yeah, so there's lots of exciting stuff going on, and I hope that you enjoy watching the videos, and please leave some comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. As I say, it's a bit of a departure for my channel. It's different to the other stuff that I've done, so if you're here for the electrical science and maths, don't go away, because I'll continue producing that as well. But this is just something a little bit different that I've been thinking about doing for a little while, so you'll be able to see some of my deeply average DIY skills coming out over the coming weeks and months, which is pretty cool. So I think the first thing that we're going to do is have a look at some of the demolition work that I need to get done. So we'll start looking at me removing some of this section of wall here, removing the skirting boards and bits and bobs like that. So watch out for that in a future video. And as always, all that remains in this video is to say thank you very much for watching.